In the 1960s, people cooked with lard and butter, yet stayed leaner than we are today. Now our shelves are packed with foods that didn't exist back then: high-fructose corn syrup, ultra-processed snacks, seed oils, sugary energy drinks. So why did saturated fat coexist with thinner bodies? The answer isn't the fat, it's everything else that's changed since. Before I continue, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends so more people can discover this content. I'm on a mission to hit 1,000 subscribers, so if you haven't already, please subscribe. Every single one counts and helps this channel grow. Walk down any supermarket aisle today and you'll find foods that would have baffled a shopper in 1965. Neon-colored energy drinks, protein bars engineered to taste like cookie dough, flavored Greek yogurts with more sugar than a candy bar, meal replacement shakes, ultra-processed snack chips made from pressed potato starch rather than actual potatoes, and fast food items built for maximum bite-by-bite palatability. None of this existed in anything like its current form 60 years ago. And yet, despite the fact that people in the 1960s cooked with lard, fried in beef fat, drank whole milk, and spread butter liberally on everything, obesity rates were a fraction of what they are today. This apparent contradiction, more unhealthy saturated fat then, less obesity then, is one of the most instructive puzzles in modern nutrition history. A great deal of what fills modern shopping carts is the product of food science developed after 1970. High-fructose corn syrup, commercialized in the early 1970s, became the dominant sweetener in sodas, sauces, and baked goods by the 1980s, something no 1960s household would have recognized. Ultra-processed snack foods engineered around the bliss point of sugar, fat, and salt, a science formalized in the 1970s-80s by food companies, created hyper-palatable products designed to override normal satiety cues. Seed and vegetable oils, soybean, canola, corn oil, scaled up massively as manufacturers moved away from animal fats and tropical oils, partly in response to dietary fat guidelines from the 1970s onward. While fast food existed in the 1960s, but portion sizes have grown dramatically. The average fast food meal, soda, and even dinner plate size have all increased substantially since then. Constant snacking culture, granola bars, protein bars, vending machine snacks, and convenience store grazing options proliferated from the 1980s onward, turning eating from 3 discrete meals into an all-day activity. Sugary specialty drinks, flavored lattes, bottled sweetened teas, sports drinks, and energy drinks are almost entirely inventions of the last 40-50 years. The saturated fat paradox dissolves once you look beyond the fat content of any single food and consider the whole food environment and lifestyle of the era. Whole foods, home cooking, and satiety. Even fatty 1960s meals were built from minimally processed ingredients: real butter, real meat, real potatoes, prepared at home. Whole foods tend to be more satiating per calorie than engineered products, making overeating physically harder to sustain meal after meal. Total caloric intake was lower. Portion sizes, snacking frequency, and the sheer number of daily eating occasions have all risen substantially since the 1960s. People today, on average, simply consume more calories per day, and much of that increase comes from processed carbohydrates and oils rather than from saturated fat itself. Physical activity was baked into daily life. Manual labor was far more common. Fewer households owned cars for every trip. Home tasks like laundry, cleaning, cooking from scratch required more physical effort, and children walked or biked to school and played outside without organized supervision. Some of this, walking errands, taking stairs, standing rather than sitting, falls under what physiologists call NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, the incidental movement that isn't formal exercise but still burns calories throughout the day. But a lot of it, manual labor, active trades, kids running around outside for hours, was genuinely vigorous physical activity in its own right, not just incidental movement. Either way, the cumulative effect was that daily life itself, not a scheduled gym session, was where most people's calories got burned, in a way that modern, sedentary, car-dependent, desk-bound routines simply don't replicate. Food marketing and availability were more limited. There were no 24-hour convenience stores on every corner, no delivery apps, and far less advertising aimed specifically at engineering cravings. Constant food availability and cues to eat are now a defining feature of daily life in a way they were not in 1965. The rise of ultra-processed food itself. A growing body of research, including controlled feeding trials, suggests that ultra-processed foods, not fat content per se, drive people to eat more calories than they intend to, likely because of a combination of energy density, texture engineering, and reduced fiber and protein relative to calories. The comparison between 1960s diets and today's isn't really a story about saturated fat being harmless or seed oils being uniquely villainous. That debate is still contested among researchers. It's better understood as a story about the entire food and activity environment shifting, more processed and engineered foods, more constant availability, bigger portions, and dramatically less built-in physical activity. Saturated fat consumption is only one variable in a system that has changed almost beyond recognition since 1965, and it's the change in the whole system, not any single nutrient, that best explains why we're heavier today than the butter and lard generation ever was. So was it really the fat? Or everything else that changed around it? Tell me your take in the comments. If this made you rethink something, like it, subscribe for more, and share it with someone who still blames the butter. See you next time.